we got to talk quarterbacks because Jared Curtis, he spent a few days in Eugene earlier in the week. Then about midweek, he spent a few days in Athens. Weekend's over. You had a chance to talk to your sources. You talked to the family. What's the latest on Jared Curtis and his recruitment?
Well, both places continue to make Jared Curtis feel at home. And his mom said that she does not envy him making his college decision. After these two visits, look, he went out to Oregon for 3 days. They got a chance to get out and about in Eugene, spend some time in nature, get around Will Stein and that coaching staff, talk offensive philosophy, how he can flourish in that scheme, get around Dan Lanning, make the family comfortable with the Oregon Ducks. He loves the trajectory of the program, his relationship with that coaching staff, and the way that Oregon has been recruiting. I think the Ducks led coming into these visits. Georgia, obviously been committed to the Bulldogs, been there countless times. His family loves Kirby Smart and that staff. It was another great visit to get around the program, to get back around Mike Bobo, to see firsthand the young receivers that Georgia's recruiting, guys that he could be throwing the ball to. An opportunity to come in and compete right away under center. Also exciting about Georgia. Sitting down and talking things out with Kirby Smart. Now I think Jared Curtis goes home, talks things over with his family, his representation, and tries to make his college decision. I think it's going to come sooner than later. Oregon led coming into these final two visits. I haven't heard differently. I think there's some optimism around Athens. I think there's some nervous energy around Eugene right now with Jared Curtis, who's going to come off the board soon. And his commitment's certainly going to impact some other recruitments moving forward.
NIL is certainly the wild card in this recruitment, but how do you think he weighs some of these important factors like NIL, like relationships, like development?
And proximity to home is
location,
also a factor in this one. Look, I think Jared Curtis wants to feel very connected with the coaches that are going to coach him. I think he wants to go to a place that's going to bring the best out of him as a player. I think he wants to be surrounded by great players, and that's why you have these two programs here at the end with so much track record of recent and historic purposes for him to go through. I just think after he decommitted from Georgia in the fall, it was Oregon that emerged. And there's been a little bit of a back and forth with these two programs over the last several months. And they're dotting I's and crossing T's on this thing right now. I do think that coming into this week, it was up to Georgia to kind of change where things stood. But they certainly gave Georgia an opportunity to do that, spending 3 full days on campus. And his family absolutely loves Georgia, proximity to home, Kirby Smart, Mike Bobo. So we'll see if the Bulldogs were able to rally down the stretch and bring this one full circle.
All right, guys, in the comment section, give us your best guess. Where do you think Jared Curtis is going to end up? Will he be a dog or a duck? Let us know. Let's move on to the number 4 ranked quarterback in the country, Ryder Lyons. He has a top 3 of BYU, Oregon, and USC. But, Steve, visits are coming, and could they shake up this recruitment?
Well, right now, Ryder Lyons is viewed as a 2027 recruit because he's going to take an LDS mission following his senior year. But if Jared Curtis doesn't go to Oregon, I think you're going to see the Ducks hit the gas even more with Ryder Lyons in this recruitment. He already said it's his best relationship with Coach Will Stein and that staff. He feels the love from Oregon and how important of a target he is for their football program. He did tell me this weekend that he almost committed to USC. The on-3 RPM favors the Trojans. What Lincoln Riley's done historically with quarterbacks and offense still carries a lot of weight with him. His brother goes to school at USC. So there's a lot of exciting things about the Trojans in this recruitment as well. BYU is more than a dark horse. They had a great season. He's been over there. Sisters went to school there. Family went to school there. A lot of ties to BYU. So I could certainly see him ending up at BYU as well. And then you got 3 more programs that are strongly in the mix. Ole Miss, he's going to visit. Spending time around Ryder Lyons, he just kind of seems like a Lane Kiffin kind of quarterback, a guy that's got a lot of confidence, a guy that likes to rip it all over the yard, a guy that can extend plays, be a playmaker. He just kind of reminded me of Jackson Dart and Matt Corral and those just uber confident guys that just like to sling it all over. He's going to visit Ole Miss, so we'll see what kind of move they make. Michigan is a contender here, and so is Ohio State. He said that Chip Kelly was talking to him every day, and that is picked up with Coach Fessler, and certainly what Ryan Day's done with quarterbacks, kind of similar to Lincoln Riley, is exciting to him. So you got your two tiers in the Ryder Lyons sweepstakes. If you're asking me to handicap it, I would maybe give Oregon the best odds right now, but it's a race that continues. The odds continue to change.
Yeah, I feel like Michigan's a team to watch here. Just like you said at the beginning, with him taking that mission and becoming essentially a 2027, it sets up really nice with the take of Bryce Underwood just a cycle ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about number 7 ranked quarterback Brady Smigiel. He was a former Florida State commitment that reopened things about 6 weeks ago now, and over the weekend he dropped a top 4.
Yeah, my on3 RPM is on Washington right now for Brady Smigiel. He was on the Huskies campus 2 weekends ago for a massive junior day. He feels really connected to Jed Fish, Coach Doherty, and that staff. I do think that Washington is doing some things from an infrastructure standpoint to make things exciting for their top recruits as well. I think he feels connected to a lot of the guys that they're recruiting and sees an offense that he could really flourish in at Washington. South Carolina, he's going to visit them later this month. He's going to be at Michigan spring game. So those are 2 opportunities for those programs to make a move. And then UCLA, the local program. He's been over to UCLA a couple times. Deshaun Foster and that staff have some exciting things going, the opportunity to stay home. But I like Washington right now, and we'll see if the other 3 programs can make a move over the spring and summer. There is no decision timeline for Brady Smigiel. He committed to Florida State once when that felt right. Whenever time feels right with these other programs, he'll hop in the boat and start recruiting as well.
All right, let's talk about Jaden O'Neal. The current Oklahoma Sooner commitment could become a major QB domino once, Jared Curtis comes off the board, Bo Bentley. There's a couple movements that could cause Jaden O'Neal to move off of his commitment to Oklahoma. Break it down for us, Steve.
I think it's trending that way regardless right now for Jaden O'Neal in Oklahoma. He was at Georgia this past week for a couple days, and that visit blew him and his camp out of the water. I think Georgia is the program that's trending for Jaden O'Neal right now. We'll see what happens with Jared Curtis. Jaden O'Neal's got several other schools putting the full court press on him as well. Florida State is one that I have a keen eye on. He is going to visit the Seminoles this spring. I could see them really rising the ranks. Auburn is another program that's in the mix for Jaden O'Neal. I expect him to be on the plains this spring checking out Auburn. But right now, it's Georgia that has the momentum for Jaden O'Neal. Bo Bentley, I like where Oklahoma stands. He's coming off a really good visit to LSU. Now he's at Ohio State this week. On3's number 5 passer. Those are the 3 schools that are really emerging for Bo Bentley. He's been at Oklahoma twice already this calendar year. Grew up rooting for the Sooners. He was Coach Arbuckle's first office offer. He was Coach Arbuckle's first offer. Certainly likes the way Coach John Mateer has developed under Coach Arbuckle. Thinks he can flourish in that offense as well. So I still give the odds to Oklahoma, but LSU and Ohio State are pushing the Sooners for Bo Bentley.